breaks to play in this championship game on a Monday. A very pleasant good evening. I'm John Sanders along with Dick Vitale. We had some shockwaves here in Anchorage today. Arizona would like to send some shockwaves all the way back to Tucson, and they think they can beat Syracuse.
John, I wouldn't be shocked at all because Arizona epitomizes what the whole team concept is all about. They're one of America's premier teams. They play together. They got a great individual player in Sean Elliott. You know, it's the year of the swingman in college basketball. Laramie, Wyoming has Fennis Dembo. Derek Chivas down in Missouri. But down in Tucson, they absolutely love Sean Elliott.
Of course, the Wildcats a little bit cocky coming in, and the guys at Syracuse know it. Ronnie Cycli is ready for sure.
Cycli is so ready, it's unbelievable. He said to me tonight, he said, Coach Vitale, I am ready to play. They said in the newspaper that I'm a suspect as a player and that they have a better front court than we do. He said, we'll find out tonight. Great matchup intersectionally. Unbelievable. East versus the West.
It is the Orangemen against the Wildcats. We'll be back to Anchorage for the Great Alaska Shootout.
Ball for the Orangemen. Their keys to winning, Dick.
Well, when you look at Syracuse, they got to play solid perimeter defense to shut down the three-point attempts of Kerr and McMillan. And they got to play in an up-tempo style. If it's a half-court game, they'll get carved to pieces. Michigan played a half-court game, and they learned the hard way. Arizona's Wildcats got to control Cycli and Coleman on the interior because they are ready to play. They are motivated, and they must stop the penetration of the tremendous point guard Sherman Douglas.
Arizona scored 133 points in their opening games, and these are the quotes that were in the papers today.
Sean Elliott told me emphatically, he said, Coach Vitale, there's no way I said that. I simply said I thought our front line was a little bit better than theirs, but I did not refer to Ronnie Cycli. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a classy kid from out of Tucson, Arizona.
It is Cook against Cycli for the opening tip-off, and it is controlled by Sherman Douglas in the orange uniforms. The visitors, the Orangemen from Syracuse. Coleman tries immediately to go inside and can't do it.
John, immediately they set up in a man-to-man defense, but we'll see them play a lot of matchup zone.
Cycli gets the stuff. The foul is on Tom Tolbert.
He is really pumped up. Whether Sean Elliott said that or not, that is posted in the locker room, and most of all, Ronnie Cycli believes he has said it.
So Tolbert picks up the personal foul. He's a senior from Lakewood, California.
It's amazing what quotes do for Ronnie Cycli. Last year I said that J.R. Reed was going to get him in foul trouble, and he got so pumped up they said he was running all around the hotel after he heard me say that in short, screaming at his players that I'm going to eliminate J.R. Reed immediately, and he did. 27 points to 13.
Elliott is fouled as he tried to go to the baseline. Arizona, the Wildcats will play it in for head coach Lute Olson. Overwhelming favorites to win the Pac-10.
Syracuse goes into a 2-3 zone. It will be tough to zone Arizona. They shoot the ball so well, John.
Steve Kerr with that wrap on the right knee. That is the knee that had reconstructive surgery and caused him to miss all of last year. That's not really a brace, though. It's more of a sleeve.
He's the heart and soul of this team. He's got great poise. He's an unbelievable leader. The guy right there with the ball.
From the side, he's got three-point capabilities.
Can't zone that, John. Cannot zone this basketball team. They shoot the ball exceptionally well.
McMillan now 6 out of 12 in three-point shots, and coming in as a team, 17 three-pointers in the 2 games for Arizona. Only 10 three-pointers in 3 games for Syracuse this year.
There's the matchup zone defense. They showed man-to-man in the first possession. Now they rotate in a matchup.
Over to Coleman. It's knocked away. Duncan has it.
Syracuse has trouble against zone defenses. They do not shoot well on the wings.
Duncan penetrates, gives it up to Thompson in the lane. Up, missed the shot. Tipped away. Kerr has it to McMillan. Now McMillan slows it down. Here's Kerr. McMillan is 20, looks inside, goes back to Kerr.
They have excellent spacing offensively.
Elliott gives it back to Tolbert. Short jumper is good.
They all can shoot the ball. Tolbert, an outstanding shooter, has good hands, good touch, played outstanding basketball against Michigan.
We have played 2 minutes of the first half. Arizona with an early 5-2 lead. Syracuse with the basketball. Douglas will run the offense along with Duncan. Here's Duncan at the foul line. Baseline, Thompson forced his way in. It's an offensive foul.
Stevie Thompson is a driving player. He's a slashing player. He's very exciting in the open court, but if they're reduced to a half-court game, they're going to have a tough time. There's the drive. Oh, yes, Cook rotates over. Good call by the official, Brent Smith. Definitely an offensive charge.
And that is 2 quick fouls on Stephen Thompson.
John, let me explain what a matchup zone is for the people out there. When you're talking a matchup defense, they simply play a zone in the area of the floor, but they're guarding a man as he's cutting through, and they communicate on cutters. It has a lot of man-to-man in it, but you just match up with someone in your area.
Little jump hook by Sean Elliott. He gets his first basket.
I love him. He's one of the real talented swingmen in America. I called him last year a mini version of Magic Johnson.
Averaging 20 points a game. He's scored 40 so far in the tournament. A 5-point lead now for Arizona. Douglas to Thompson.
See, they got to shoot the ball from the wing. That's the shot they got to hit.
Duncan misses it. It's tipped up by Coleman. He gets it back and jams it in. Drew the foul. That'll be 2 fouls on Tolbert.
The CNS gang, Coleman and Cycli, are ready to attack the glass. Coleman with a monster mash right here. There he goes inside. The monster man. He said, please tell my mom, coach, that I'm okay. The earthquake didn't bother me.
Everybody exchanging stories. Where were you when the earthquake hit? And most of them were in their hotels. Some of them wanted to go to the lobby. Most of them didn't. But they're going to remember this trip to Anchorage because of the snow and the earthquake that hit 7-4. Penetration on the drive. He gives it up to McMillan.
What a play created by Sean Elliott. You can see a lot of the great skills he possesses that has the pro scouts really excited about his talent.
Hughes into the lineup now to Douglas.
There's that matchup, John. It's going to be really important for Syracuse to get into the seams. There's the wing shot.
Douglas for 3, bending off. Tipped up and controlled by Coleman. Boy, he's a tiger so far. 5 points for Derek Coleman.
Derek Coleman is a dynamite offensive rebounder. He's one of my all Moses Malone players. He goes after every rebound like it's his last meal.
9-7, the lead is 2. McMillan against Duncan. Behind the back to Tolbert. Almost threw it away. It's saved by Elliott. Elliott now looks for McMillan as the count was on by referee Tom Frame. Tolbert's jumper from the side. He has a great touch. 4 points for Tolbert. Arizona is 5 for 5 from the field. They lead by 4.
He went to the University of California, Irvine, started his career, then went to Cerritos Junior College, and he was co-player of the year in junior college with Dean Garrett, who I'll see tomorrow against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
There's Cycli with a little turnaround. It rolls off. Tolbert with a rebound for Arizona. Gets it ahead to Kerr.
He's a horse, Tolbert, an outstanding collegiate inside player.
McMillan for 3, bends off. First miss by Arizona. Back comes Duncan after the Hughes rebound. Duncan almost took the jumper.
That's Syracuse's game. They'll run it up.
Here's Cycli again. The turnaround jumper. It's going to be short, but he's fouled. If that's on Tolbert, that'll be 3. So 3 quick fouls for Tom Tolbert. The senior from Lakewood is in immediate foul trouble, and Lute Olson is going to have to make a change.
They'll most likely bring in a guy by the name of Joe Turner. He's keeping him on the floor right now.
No, he's on the bench.
Oh, he's got him out of the game.
He's got Joe Turner in there. You're right.
I missed it.
Cycli missed his first foul shot, makes his second.
There's a look at Tom Tolbert, big, strong. Lute Olson talking to him. I got a feeling that Lute Olson will be the coach of the 1992 Olympic team. Did a great job in the World Games, winning it in Spain over the USSR. Has a lot of class, and I really believe he's going to be the leading contender for the United States Olympic job in 1992.
Rebounds a game. Syracuse 3 out of 7 from the field. Arizona off to a great start, 5 out of 6. Elliott brings the ball down.
See, he's a small forward at 6'8" from out of Tucson, Arizona. Played at Cholla High School. There he is, Sean Elliott.
Decided not to shoot. Hughes pushed off as he went to the lane.
That's a mismatch, and M&M'er. There's Jimmy Boeheim. Look at him on that sideline. He's up in big-time style. It's BTC time now. Big-time crying going on. James Boeheim. I love him, though. He's a good, good guy.
15:22 to play first half. A 2-point lead for Arizona. Lute Olson's Wildcats have led from the start.
There's a lot of pride between these two schools going at it right now.
McMillan drops it for Kerr.
Syracuse in that 2-3 zone. Watch them get the shot on the wing, John. They're going to drive it down the middle and get the shot right on the wing. They're overloading on one side of the zone.
McMillan along the baseline brings it back to Elliott.
They had the wing shot here to McMillan.
In the lane, hangs. Cycli bats it away, but they'll count the basket.
I'm so impressed. No doubt about goaltending. Most of the time, and if an offensive player lays that ball up in the middle of the floor, like Elliott does here, you can almost guarantee goaltending. Definitely got that ball on its downward flight.
13-9. Wildcats lead. The Orangemen have the basketball. Syracuse ranked number 3 in the latest Associated Press poll. And Arizona moving up to number 9 along the baseline. Coleman works his way in. Up. Good. Derek Coleman has 7 points in the early going.
The lights are on. It's Broadway time, and that brings out the best in Derek Coleman. He really gets excited for the big game.
He is 3 out of 3 from the field. Turner along the baseline against Cycli. Brings it back to Sean Elliott. Elliott working on Hughes. Takes him to the baseline. Back to Kerr. Kerr with penetration into the lane. McMillan top of the circle. Knocked away. Saved, though, by Anthony Cook. Now Kerr will reset with 18 seconds on the shot clock. McMillan baseline underneath. Lost it. McMillan saves it. Back it goes to Cook. Cook now. McMillan will shoot the three-pointer. It's going to be short. Turner with a rebound, and the power lays it in there. No basket. The foul is on Turner. He powered his way inside and committed the foul.
That is called the principle of verticality. The defensive player is entitled to that plane right here. You'll see it. Little Joe, they call him. Joe Turner comes up with a big offensive rebound, but now he powers right back into the defensive player. Great call by Steve Wilson of the Pac-10. The principle of verticality.
Matt Rowe is in the lineup for Syracuse.
They overload here against the zone. He had the wide open shot. Douglas did.
Douglas goes to Cycli. Cycli's got it low, and it's an offensive foul on Cycli. Ronnie Cycli lost control of the basketball momentarily and then slammed into McMillan.
Good call by the official. I made an error the other day in the Syracuse game, John. I said that Ronnie Cycli fouled out of 22 games. What I meant, he's fouled out of 22 games in his career at Syracuse, not in an individual season.
And checking into the lineup is Ken Lofton, number 11 for the Wildcats. This is Turner off the bench. Here's Lofton. Lofton took over for Kerr last year, threw that one away.
Lofton is one of the premier 6 players in America. The premier 6th player belongs to Iowa, Jeff Moe. I love Jeff Moe. What a win they had over Villanova.
Keep in mind that all 6 the Arizona players who see the most playing time are in double figures in the first 2 games. Of course, they scored 133 in beating Duquesne. Rowe for 3.
He's getting QT, quality time. I was teasing him before the game. I said, Matt Rowe, I'm making you a star. Don't let me down. He can shoot the rock.
He can indeed. 7 of 10 from 3-point range. Here's Turner. Brings it back to Lofton.
Oh,
inside.
Great pass.
They got Cook low. Tipped up in the air by Turner.
Hey, Turner's giving them positive basketball off the bench. And you should see the bench of Arizona. They're always enthusiastic, spirited.
A 1-point lead for Arizona.
Hey, John, I'm pumped up. I'll tell you, you got to calm me down here. I'm pumped up. This is the start of the season.
Here's another 3-pointer by Rowe. He's got it.
Baby!
Matt Rowe with 2 consecutive 3-point shots at 17-15. Syracuse by 2.
The 3-point shot developed by Ed Stites and his committee has just gotten some great court time for Matt Rowe. He wouldn't play if it weren't for that 3-point shot.
Elliott brings it back to Kerr. We have 12 minutes to play. Again, Turner gets underneath and lays it in.
Poor defensive play by Ronnie Cycli in the post position. He doesn't beat him to the ball. He allows him to drop step and take the ball to the goal. Quick move by Little Joe, Joe Turner.
Spinning jump shot by Cycli, and a 2-point lead again for Syracuse.
Ronnie Cycli with the great touch has really improved. Went to Pete Newell's big man camp and really learned a great deal from one of the gurus in basketball, Peter Newell.
Cycli has 6. Kerr with a spin move against Rowe. Brings it back to Cook.
Man-to-man defense.
3-pointer. Short. Cycli rebounds to Douglas. Back come the Orangemen, leading by 2 with 11:25 to play first half. Rowe again for 3. Yes!
He can flat out shoot the ball, John. They have to match up and find him. He's capable of drilling 5, 6 of those in a row. Matt Rowe becoming a star.
A 5-point Syracuse lead. Rowe off the bench with 3 straight 3-pointers. Elliott with a drive to Cook. Gets Cycli up in the air and scores.
Cook with the great head fake, a quick leaper. He reminds me so much of the kids that played at Louisville for Denny Crum. A good shot blocker, but that play was created by Sean Elliott.
Each team has had a 5-point lead. Right now it's Syracuse up by 3 at 22-19 with 10:45 to play. First half, the final of the Great Alaska Shootout. He can't hit 4 in a row. Elliott with a rebound.
We're looking at 2 of the top 10 teams in the nation without a doubt. These teams can flat out play basketball.
Turner, baseline reverses it, blocked by Coleman. Cycling to Douglas at the other end.
Here's where he's tough.
He lays it in.
He's tough in the open court, John. He's strong. Out of Spingarn High School in Washington, D.C. that produced David Bing, the former great at Syracuse.
24-19, Syracuse by 5. Elliott traveled. As he started to make a baseline move, he traveled. We're going to have a timeout. 10 minutes and 15 seconds to play. The championship of the Great Alaska Shootout. Right now it's Syracuse leading by 5.
Dynamite with the three-point shot for Indiana. Going to see Indiana and Notre Dame tomorrow night down in Bloomington, where the fans really get into their basketball, and seeing the general Robert Montgomery Knight against Richard Digger Phelps, who has done a great job with that Notre Dame team. Last year they really overachieved.
Both teams 9 out of 14 from the field, lighting it up at 64%. 3 3-pointers for Syracuse, 1 so far for Arizona. The Orangemen have the basketball as we count down to midway point in the first half. The final game of the Great Alaska Shootout for 1987.
Got to get into gaps here.
Douglas tried to go over the top, and inside the foul is called on Ken Lofton, the junior from East Chicago.
Very difficult to throw that lob over the top of the Arizona defense because of the presence of Anthony Cook, who's a tremendous leaper.
That's 5 team fouls on Arizona. 4 so far on Syracuse. The Orangemen have the ball. Rowe to Douglas. They have a new 45 on the clock.
Oh, they missed Cycli in the gut. They got him that time.
He turns around with a jump shot and hits it. Ronnie Cycli has 8 points.
He is really primed to play. Great touch by Cycli. He flashes to the post area. It's open in the lane.
Elliott. They've got Turner down low again, just over the outstretched arm of Cycli. 6 points for Turner.
He seals off the defensive player. They call him Little Joe. His dad is Big Joe.
A 5-point lead. Here's Hughes for 3. It's short. Kerr with a rebound. Back come the Wildcats. It's a 3-on-3 as Kerr pulls it out a little bit. Now goes baseline Turner. Still working off the lane. Skips it to Elliott. His jump shot, good.
That was great execution. Tremendous pass right there to get the ball to Elliott for the wing jump shot. They really know how to move the basketball, and they have excellent motion on the floor.
He is 3 for 3 shooting the basketball. A 3-point lead for Syracuse. Keep in mind this Arizona team, all veterans, all back. Douglas missed the shot. Cycli is there, and he's fouled by Cook.
Cycli is big and strong. He is so tough.
Ronnie Cycli will go to the line. Here it is again. Here's the penetration. He was trying to drop it off, I think, for Coleman.
There's the offensive rebound right there by Cycli, and he gets blasted. You know, he and Kerr played against each other. They were kidding each other before the game. You know where they played? Ronnie played for the American School in Lebanon, and Kerr played for the American School. No, he played for the one in Greece, and Kerr for the one in Lebanon, and they played against each other in volleyball, not basketball.
Cycli 3 out of 4 from the field, 3 out of 4 from the line.
Lute Olson's done one classy job at Arizona. He took the program over. They were 4-23, 1-17 in the Pac-10. In his 3rd year, he won the Pac-10 championship.
266 victories in his outstanding coaching career.
Well, he coached at Long Beach State for 1 year, was 24-2, replaced Jerry Tarkanian, and then went to Iowa, where he did a tremendous job.
Lofton for 3. It's too hard. Cook keeps it alive for Arizona. Turner to Kerr. He's got a 3-pointer. It's no good. And again, it's rescued by Turner. Lofton. They go to Cook. Off the lane. His jump shot's way too hard. Cycli with a rebound to Douglas. He's got Rowe with him. Now Cycli runs the court. Here's Rowe. Pulls it back. Douglas. Foul line jumper good as he hits the deck.
That's the open court basketball, playing at a fast pace. They do a good job defensively getting back Arizona, but Sherman Douglas recognizes a gap and blows into the lane. Super strong with the dribble move.
Syracuse by 6, 7 minutes and 40 seconds to play first half. Kerr against Rowe. Fights through the screen of Cook. Now Lofton. Good move against Douglas. He beat him. It'll be pinned against the glass. Give the basket to Lofton, his first.
Look at Ronnie pleading. Look at him pleading his case.
Well, he's pleading his case.
There's Kenny Lofton with the clear out. They clear the side out. They take it right to him. Oh, definitely. No doubt about the interference.
We still have 7:33 to play. Syracuse leads. Points. Matt Rowe has 9 on 3 3-pointers. Joe Turner off the bench with 6 first-half points for Arizona. Sean Elliott also has 6 points to lead the scoring for the Wildcats.
Arizona will be the class of the Pac-10. I believe they'll go through the Pac-10, maybe with 1 loss, 2 losses at the most. Their real test will come December 12th when they go over to Iowa and play the Hawkeyes. And then at home, they got a great tournament with Florida, Duke, and Michigan State.
Rowe decides not to shoot. McMillan comes out to pressure him a little. Lofton picks up Douglas. Spin move by Douglas. It's blocked by Turner. Here comes McMillan and the Wildcats back the other way. Douglas slows him down. Lofton in the corner to Elliott. Down the lane. Gives it up to Turner off the glass and good.
What a tremendous passer Sean Elliott is. He's so unselfish. He's the kind of player you would love to play with. He's going to be an excellent second guard in the NBA, and he is guaranteed to be a first-round choice, but only a junior.
29-27, a 2-point lead for the Orangemen.
We're seeing 2 classy teams, and they're both playing well, John.
Rowe for 3. Cycling chases down the rebound. Tries to go back to Coleman. Douglas. Now Rowe. Again a 3-pointer. He's got that one.
He's made 4 out of 6. You might as well let him shoot that every time he's free. They have to find him on the floor and match up with him. He's getting too open for that 3-point shot.
32-27. Back to a 5-point lead. Turner baseline double team. Brings it back. Elliott. Down the lane, hangs, fires, and hits.
John, do you love him? Can he play? If this kid got more exposure nationally, he'd be on all the All-American lists with the top 10 players in the nation.
He has hit all 4 of his field goal attempts. Back to a 3-point lead. It's 32-29. Syracuse has been up by 7. Arizona early led by 5.
See, they have to find Rowe. They can't allow Rowe to square up and shoot that 3-point shot.
Cycling powers his way inside, missed the shot.
But it was a great move by Ronnie Cycling. An excellent drop-step move in the lane.
Elliott with a rebound, brings it up himself. McMillan for 3. Good.
He was a little inconsistent last year, but Craig McMillan can shoot the ball. He's a streaky shooter, one of the all-time leading scorers in California high school basketball.
And we are tied at 32 with 5:22 to play first half. Second time we've been tied in the ball game. Both teams, as Dick mentioned, playing well so far. Douglas starts a move, backs it out. Stephen Thompson is back in the lineup now for the Orangemen. Now Douglas down the lane, tried to give it up, and he traveled.
See, Sherman Douglas is not as effective in the half-court situation like he is in the open court situation. And this is where Lute Olson is a master, controlling tempo of the game. There's Douglas now. I thought he might have gotten tripped right there, but he stumbles over. There's Jimmy Boeheim. He's had such a record at Syracuse. And Lute Olson, he's done a job everywhere he's been.
Lute Olson with 266 victories. Jim Boeheim in 12 seasons, 263 victories at Syracuse. He's gone to only 9 NCAAs and 2 NITs in 11 years.
And as I said the other day, John, these coaches really overachieve in everything they do. In terms of marriage, you should see Lute Olson's beautiful wife, Bonnie, Elaine of Jimmy Boeheim. It's amazing, these guys, overachievers.
Bushler's shot is blocked, and right back comes Turner. He has 10 points in the first half.
He's playing with a vengeance. He's so quick along that baseline. He's looking over at Lute Olson and says, I want some playing time.
And the lead goes back to the Wildcats from Tucson, Arizona. Tolbert got an early foul trouble. That brought on Turner. He has scored 10 points.
See, they got to reverse it to Douglas and then right into Cycling.
Stephen Thompson in the lane. Jump shot. Short. There is Turner with a rebound at both ends. Now Cook, but no place to go. He'll bring it back to Lofton.
They swing the ball. They really pass the ball, and they're very unselfish. There's the diagonal pass over the top of the defense.
And Turner drives, tried to give it up to Cook. It went out of bounds, touched last by Cook. 3 turnovers apiece. 4 minutes and 7 seconds to play first half. Stephen Thompson, Bushler ties him up along the baseline. Now Brower in the lineup for the Orangemen. To Douglas. Brower and Cycli on the court at the same time. They try to go over the top. Cycli and Brower were together. Neither man really went up for the ball.
That's the third time they have tried that. They've been unable to get it because of the awareness also of the Arizona defense. That play will be very difficult to get in this situation.
4:32, 3 minutes and 55 seconds left first half. Big rebounding edge so far to Arizona.
You know, they dominated Michigan in every phase of the game. I mean, it was just absolutely even worse than a 15-point margin. And I had Michigan rated so high. But if you look at the unpredictability in college basketball, 4 teams already that have been labeled #1 have been beaten. Purdue, Kansas, Syracuse, and also Michigan.
Cook. Working. Brings it back. Elliott now, top of the circle. Here's McMillan to Kerr.
Kerr's such a courageous kid. Reconstructed knee.
Turnaround by Cook is no good. It's out of bounds, but the Wildcats will keep it.
You know, you mentioned Steve Kerr. Every time he scores a basket at McKeel Center, where they averaged over 12,000 fans, they chant his name, Steve Kerr. They say it's a beautiful sound of music, but not for the opposition.
Picked up by Thompson. They are sold out for this year already and will set new attendance records for Arizona.
They should sell out with this kind of team Lute Olson's given them. That's quality.
Douglas taken away.
2-on-1.
Here's Kerr against McMillan.
I knew it.
The foul, the blocking foul is called on Matt Rowe. Kerr tried to give it to McMillan.
When I said I knew it, I knew that he would make the intelligent pass. He's such a heady player, Steve Kerr. What he lacks in quickness and first step, he makes up with great court intelligence.
Earl Duncan and Ronnie Cycli check back in. Douglas sits down. So does Brower for the Orangemen.
Matt Rowe almost made a tremendous defensive play to take that 2-on-1 breakaway and get the charge.
McMillan at the line.
You know, the beat's going to go on at Arizona and Syracuse as he misses the free throw. They both have great early recruiting news. When you look at Arizona, they signed a kid named Ron Curry, a 6'8" flash from out of Bloomington, Illinois, and a kid by the name of Wayne Womack. And Syracuse signed Billy Owens, Dave Johnson, and Richard Manning.
McMillan with 9 points in the first half. 3 minutes, 10 seconds to play. Arizona leads by 3. The Orangemen have the ball. Stephen Thompson to Matt Rowe.
There's that matchup defense. They find a man in the area of the floor.
Duncan looks inside. Gets it back from Coleman. Now they kick it to Rowe.
See how they're aware now where Rowe is. He's getting the ultimate respect. McMillan is shading him. He knows that where he is on the floor. There goes McMillan.
The Orangemen have been held without a field goal since the 6:25 mark when Rowe hit one of his 3-pointers. Cycling, now Duncan, top of the circle. It's for 2, bending off. Rebounded by Sean Elliott.
That's the one deficient area, consistency on the perimeter, and that's why Rowe is such a vital part of the Syracuse program.
Cook in the lane against Cycli. Pumps a couple of times high in the air and down.
Oh, little Hail Mary time by Anthony Cook. He was a little bit intimidated by Ronnie Cycli, but he threw up a rainbow.
That matches the biggest lead that Arizona has had, a 5-point difference. Duncan along the baseline. No basket, but he is fouled.
Duncan is a physical player, very strong with the basketball. He's going to be an outstanding defensive player. He and Douglas, the D&D boys, should definitely cause some havoc up at the Carrier Dome.
Duncan will be at the line. And Earl, 9 out of 12 in the 3 games prior to this one.
You take a look at Lute Olson standing there coaching. He's on that next line of coaches. In terms of the Rolls Royces you talk about, as I told you today, naturally the General Robert Knight. You got Eddie Sutton. You talk about John Thompson. And, of course, the Michelangelo Dean Smith. But then there's my all-Mercedes guys, the Lute Olsons, the guys like Tommy Davis, Larry Brown, John Chaney, Mike Krzyzewski, Gene Cady. And then there's the all-Etzel crew, headed by yours truly, Dick Vitale. I was at all Etzel, John.
2:10 to play in the first half.
You're not supposed to laugh at that. You're supposed to say, no, you're not.
No, you're not. Is that okay? 2:05 left in the first half. Arizona by 5.
Oh, good inside, outside.
Got it.
Good inside, outside action. Down to the post, back outside, and Bushler is an excellent long-range shooter. A member, he was a member, I believe, of the Volleyball World Games. He's a tremendous volleyball player.
Has his team up by 6 at 39-33. 1:45 left. Duncan for 3. It's going to be short.
That hurts.
Bushler with a rebound.
That really hurts. They're packing it in on the big people, and they're giving them that wing shot.
He stepped out of bounds. So the Cats turn it back over to the Orangemen. Jim Boeheim up and working the sidelines, having a word with Douglas and Thompson in backcourt.
Jimmy has said it. He said, I know we have problems at the free throw line. I know we have problems shooting the ball from the perimeter, but we're going to have to make up in those areas by excelling on the offensive boards, by excelling in transition. You got to make up for some of the things that you lack.
Stephen Thompson brings it back now to Sherman Douglas. Starts a move against Kerr. Jump shot up and good.
Doesn't look pretty. Looks a little bit ugly the way he shoots the ball, but the final results, he got himself a deuce.
It almost looks like all of his shots are off balance, but they get in the hole. McMillan with a drive. Gives it up to Turner. This is Bushler. Turner against Cycli. His lane jumper is no good, but Cycli will get charged with a foul. That's 2 on Ronnie Cycli.
They got to be careful. I would take him out right now with a minute to go and a half to protect him from getting the third.
They just took Cook out of the lineup to protect him from the same fate. Turner will go to the line for the first time in the game. 5 field goals for Joe Turner, the senior from Bakersfield. 9 of the Wildcats on the roster from the state of California. Interesting, you'll notice that Turner lifts his glasses up, his goggles up when he shoots his foul shots.
Yeah, that is kind of unique. They lost a tremendous recruit to Walt Hazard in UCLA. Derek Martin, they wanted badly, a great point guard, one of probably the 5 best guards in the United States in high school.
Missed both of his foul shots, but Elliott gets it back.
Elliott does it all.
Kicks it to Kerr. McMillan for 3. Good.
What great ball movement. Elliott to Kerr, reverses it to McMillan. Timeout, Syracuse, and celebration time on the Arizona side, and a little sadness on the Syracuse side.
42-35 with 51 seconds to play in the first half. Arizona with its biggest lead of the first half, a 7-point edge. Boy, they have tremendous ball movement.
They really move the ball, and they excel defensively, and they love playing with each other. Anybody you talk to will tell you this team epitomizes what college basketball is about. They really have a role on the floor. They know their role, and they play so well together as a team.
That's the home court for the basketball team, though. They play in a smaller building.
You talk about warmth. There'll be some warmth tomorrow night in Bloomington, Indiana, when the Hoosiers hook up with the Fighting Irish. They love their basketball down in Bloomington, Indiana, John. And I can't wait to sit at courtside, even though I got to fly all night long.
We are playing for first and second. Either Lute Olson will be first or second. The rest of the finish, and we had great games on Sunday. Michigan third, University of Alaska Anchorage won 2 games to finish 4th, UAB 5th, Miami 6th, Southwest Texas State 7th, and Duquesne, the only team without a win, wound up in the number 8 spot. But this is for first or second, and it's a 7-point lead right now for Syracuse. Arizona is shooting 64%, Syracuse shooting 54%. With about 40 seconds left first half.
Arizona doing a tremendous job on the boards, really attacking the glass.
Douglas missed the shot. Cycli with a rebound, tries to go back up, can't get the roll. He is fouled by McMillan.
He showed tremendous strength right there, John. I didn't think there was any way that he would get that ball up, but he was able to body it up, and he got fouled on a play and will go and shoot 2.
I mentioned the games that we had yesterday as we watched Cycli. Look at him use his arms inside.
Stretches his body out. Now he's going to muscle this up, take it up. He said he learned so much at the big man camp with Pete Newell, who did a great job when he coached at California University, winning a national championship.
Arizona on a 14-3 spurt against Syracuse. Cycli rattles home his 4th foul shot. The senior has 10 points. The 3 games on Sunday were decided by a total of 7 points. We had a 4-point game, a 2-point game, and a 1-point game. So some great basketball in the Great Alaska Shootout on Sunday, and we're getting more of the same in the championship final tonight.
Well, Michigan was very lucky to get out with that win over UAB. Gene Barthow's team winning on a great play by Gary Grant. There's the rebound by Tolbert.
Shot clock is off, so Arizona will take some time coming up. It's 42-36. The Wildcats by 6.
I said Tolbert, I meant Bushler. Big, strong, 6'6" kid.
McMillan covered by Stephen Thompson.
Man-to-man defense right here, going to spread the court. They can't handle him one-on-one. If Elliott gets in a one-on-one situation, they're going to try to isolate Elliott right here.
Yeah, that is Herman Hareed who is trying to cover him.
They're going to try to isolate him.
Elliott powers his way in.
Offensive foul.
It is an offensive foul. Good call, ref.
Offensive foul. They did handle him. He got a little too anxious. Great defensive play by Herman Hareed from out of Dunbar High School.
Only 2 seconds left in the first half. Hareed quickly comes off. They put Matt Rowe on.
Yeah, Hareed beat him to the spot. Excellent job by Hareed beating the offensive player to the spot. To be in a legal defensive position, I have to emphasize you must have both feet on the ground and you must be facing the offensive player.
Baseball pass. Stephen Thompson at the buzzer. Won't go, and we have played the first 20. Matt Rowe will get a start in the second half.
You know, John, excuse me a minute. There was a shove-it match that went on outside the locker room on the way to the locker room. Sherman Douglas and Kenny Lofton. They were really pushing each other. Supposedly, I was notified of that by several people who witnessed it.
That is the only change. It's knocked away by Stephen Thompson in the starting lineups from the first half as Rowe replaces Duncan. Elsewhere, it's Douglas, Cycli, Thompson, and Coleman, Cook, Elliott, Tolbert, McMillan, and Kerr. Same starting 5 for the University of Arizona.
The three-point shot really could be big in this game, and that's why you see Rowe's presence on the floor. Matchup zone right now by Syracuse.
Kerr has it. McMillan looks low. In the lane, Cook. Jump shot is good. Anthony Cook had a couple of baskets in the first half. He gets the first basket of the second half.
Tremendous shot selection by Arizona. You look at the class teams in America. When you watch an Indiana play, you watch it in Arizona, they always come up with excellent shot selection.
Over the top to Cycli. Blocked by Cook. Into the hands of Sean Elliott.
He wanted to reject that one. He's one of the better rejectors in college basketball, Anthony Cook.
Now Cook, a turnaround jump shot, good.
He can shoot that rainbow. It's no accident. They're getting it right into the gut, and he's shooting right over the top of Ronnie Cycli.
Biggest lead of the game for either team, a 10-point edge for Arizona. Cycli, turnaround jump shot, too hard. Elliott high for the rebound for the Wildcats.
Look at Elliott at 6'8" rebound.
McMillan, they go to Tolbert. His turnaround shot, short. Here comes Douglas. It's a 3-on-2, now a 4-on-2. Douglas, jump shot, no good. Cook with a rebound.
They're only getting one shot, John. They're allowing him one shot on the glass.
Tolbert alone at the other end. Short jumper is also short. This time Douglas has it. He'll restart.
Normally Tolbert's going to deliver that 9 out of 10 times. That little jump shot. He's got great touch.
Stephen Thompson to Douglas. 18 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the game. So right now, Arizona working on a 10-point lead.
Syracuse is going to see a lot of zone defenses. Also, Michigan found that out in this tournament. They're going to face a lot of zones.
Thompson. Foul line jumper is short, but Kerr picks up the foul on Steve, his first of the game.
You know, John Thompson said it. He's been out scouting and evaluating players, looking for his All-United States Olympic team. And he said there really aren't a lot of great shooters in America. That's why I believe Rex Chapman from Kentucky is almost a lock to make the Olympic team.
Thompson with the first point of the second half for the Orangemen.
He comes out of Los Angeles, California. He headed out to the Carrier Dome. He was watching Syracuse play on ESPN, and he said, I wanted to be part of the Carrier Dome.
Arizona's lead is 8. Kerr runs the offense.
Oh, they're going into a little trap, a little half-court trap.
Elliott.
It's going to be tough to trap them because Elliott's such a good passer on the wing.
It was knocked away by Thompson. Douglas now for the Orangemen. To Rowe. Can't get off the three-pointer. He's double-teamed along the baseline. Drops it low to Cycli, who lays it in.
Excellent play by Matt Rowe. Throws the little jump hook pass into the lane to Ronnie Cycli.
Cycli with his 12th point. It's a 6-point lead for Arizona. The Wildcats will walk it up.
They're going to try to go in a little trap. There it is. There's the half-court trap. You got to get the ball in the post area and then reverse it.
McMillan now against Rowe. Works his way to the baseline. Brings it back to Cook. Now Kerr.
Syracuse playing multiple defenses.
Tolbert in the lane. Soft jumper, good.
Gotta like that big fella. Tom Tolbert, he's added some weight to that frame. He almost went to Nevada, Las Vegas. Jerry Tarkanian wanted him badly, but he said, no, I'm going out to Tucson.
Stephen Thompson, baseline. It's Coleman with the rebound. Now Thompson tries to go up. They still fight, and the Wildcats come away with it. It's Elliott.
Derek Coleman's really been quiet. I haven't been able to find Derek Coleman. Oh,
Cook
what a great
Cycli
fake.
in the air.
Oh, what a great fake.
Coleman.
Oh, did Ronnie Cycli leave something on the floor right there, John? What a pump fake inside. Look at that bench. Mason and Muehlbach and Georgeson and Rooks. Look at the head fake. Oh, yes. Goodbye, Ronnie. Ronnie left something right on the ground, but Cook couldn't finalize it. He got fouled.
The foul is on Coleman, his first.
That was a good foul by Derek because he had the slam jam bammer right there and maybe a three-point opportunity. Get fouled on the scoring of the deuce.
Anthony Cook averaging 5 rebounds a game in this tournament. This is his first chance at the line tonight. The junior from LA has 9 points.
Nobody should look that good like Lute Olson. The hair in place. Man, I wish my hair would be in place like that, John.
It is in place. 10 points for Cook. 16 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. It's a 10-point lead for Arizona.
What enthusiasm they have with that team. The bench, everybody's involved. Nobody's worried about playing time. They really represent college basketball, Arizona.
Here's Douglas. Off the front of the rim. Rebounded inside by Sean Elliott. Boy, they are doing a great job on the board.
But is he a player? America's seeing a real star. We don't hear his name too often during the year, but Sean Elliott belongs right up there with all the great players.
Elliott tries to back in.
Oh, what a move.
Thompson up and gives it up to Tolbert, who's fouled.
What a play, John. I want to jump out of my seat. What a play, Sean Elliott. Are you kidding me? Take a look at this play. Watch the head fake and spin to the lane. Here he goes. Boom. Fake once. Drop step. Takes it to the goal. And then so unselfish, and he dumps it to Tolbert. Oh, Tom, he's saying, why didn't you finish it off?
Tolbert at the line for the first time. Good numbers against Michigan. Tolbert misses his first foul shot. He had 21 points in the opening game on Friday. That was a victory, a big victory. 133-78 over Duquesne. 1 out of 2 for Tolbert. 15:59 left in the game. Right now, the biggest lead of the night belongs to the Wildcats from Tucson, Arizona. In the second half, and they have fallen behind by 11. Herman Hareed into the lineup. He has the ball right now.
They need a big three-point shot out of Rowe, but they're really matching up. What an adjustment by Arizona defensively on Rowe.
Cycli. Up, under, in. Nice move by Ronnie Cycli. He's got 14 points.
He's certainly going to be a lottery selection in the NBA draft. Certainly one of the top picks. He's got great moves inside. He's very quick, and he's got strength.
This is Cook with it. Hareed tries to help out on the trap. Elliott carries it into McMillan. Now Kerr as they swing it around. Tolbert facing the basket.
Man-to-man defense right here.
Elliott picked up by Hareed. He gets a step and draws a foul.
He's got great triple threat position, John. He faces the defensive player, and he's always in position to make the pass, to shoot the ball, or to drive with the ball.
51-42 with 15:10 to play. Jim Boeheim setting his defense. Kerr keys the inbounds play to McMillan. Now Kerr for 3. Off the front of the rim, no good. Coleman rebounds for Syracuse. Back comes Sherman Douglas.
Defensive transition there is excellent by Arizona. They really get back quickly to take away the number game.
Now Douglas backs it out. McMillan is doing a good job really coming out on Matt Rowe, taking that three-point shot away from him.
Yeah, he's really finding him, and he's really closing off to shut down the perimeter game.
Cycli from behind McMillan blocked it. It's saved by Coleman. Back to Cycli.
Offensive foul.
That'll be 3 fouls on Ronnie Cycli.
Offensive foul. But you see, John, with the presence of Rowe on the floor, it opens up passing angles inside to Ronnie Cycli. That's why they're able to get the ball inside to Cycli. But he definitely had an offensive foul.
He thought he had been fouled by McMillan.
Watch, right here. Here he goes right into the... Yes, he goes right into Cook. Lowers the shoulder.
They've got 4 on Ronnie Cycli. I only had 3. So it is 4 officially on Ronnie Cycli.
See, now Derek Coleman has to assert himself offensively. He's really been non-existent. I don't know, has he scored other than a slam dunk early in the first few minutes?
He had 7 points in the first half.
Yeah, he got them all really early.
No basket. The foul on Hareed before Elliott got the shot off.
Elliott is so silky smooth. He started at the 5-star basketball camp run by Howard Garfinkel. He was brilliant. In fact, Garfinkel put him on a McDonald's All-American game that year, and that game consisted of the Tom Hammonds, the Purvis Ellisons, the Tito Horfords, the Jerome Lanes.
McMillan has not scored in the second half.
He's always under control right here. Look at the poise that he has.
Long three-pointer, got it. 15 points for the senior from Cloverdale, California.
They got great balance, John. They got an inside game, an outside game. They got a bench that loves their teammates. They got a coach that can flat-out coach. They only lack really a dominant big player on the inside from being what we call a great, great team.
They have a 12-point lead over third-ranked Syracuse. The Orangemen against the Wildcats. The Wildcats came in ranked number 9. Douglas down the lane, up. Elliott got a piece of it. The rebound to Cook, and he's fouled. Or either he committed the foul, I guess.
Anthony Cook can't believe it. Top frame from the ACC with the call. Lute Olson cannot believe it on the sideline. There's the drive by Douglas. Here comes the rebound. There's Coleman battling, keeping the ball alive. Oh, Cook definitely climbed his back. I don't know what the cries are about. Anthony Cook definitely came over the Babylon Flash, Mr. Brower.
A read to Douglas. Inside, Coleman. Little left-hand jump shot, no good. He gets his rebound back and powers it in.
He seems to assert himself when Ronnie Cycli is not on the floor. Look at the intensity on his face from out of the Motor City in Detroit, where he was number 2 to Terry Mills, who will ultimately be a big, big star for Michigan.
I noticed that Coach Bill Frieder is still here. He said he was going back to Michigan, but he's still around. Here's Douglas. Elliott cuts him off.
Sherman Douglas is so strong to the basket. If they get in the open court, he's basically unstoppable, but they do a great job. We talked about it earlier, getting back defensively. You mentioned Frieder. He took his team dog sledding today. He gave him a day off. He said, let's go out and dog sled. And now he's going to load up on a bunch of cupcakes, and they'll be 10-1 when they enter the Big Ten and play Northwestern.
13:05 left in this one, the championship game of the Great Alaska Shootout. Douglas, a good foul shooter. He's 7 out of 8 this season.
His high school team was 31-0. Dave Bing came from that high school, but all the records were held by one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA, Elgin Baylor.
8 points now for Sherman Douglas. Slice the lead down to 8.
See, they really play with 3 ball handlers. Look at this kid handle the ball for a forward at 6'8", 32. What a ball player.
Now McMillan. Inside to Cook off the lane. Back to Kerr. Three-pointer. Good.
Steve Kerr, they're rocking and rolling in McHale Center this year when he drills that three-point shot.
That is his first basket of the night. He was 0 for 3 all on three-pointers until that one.
And Johnny's so valuable. He doesn't have to score a point. He's the guy that makes this team go. He moves the ball, plays tough defense.
Hareed turned it over.
Hareed is a good defensive player, John, but not really a good offensive player.
He tried to penetrate the lane that time and turned it over. Now they've got a 5-on-4.
Oh, what a pass right to Kerr.
Duncan picks up the foul on Earl, his first. But Syracuse obviously out of sync right now.
Well, they're out of sync. They're playing without Cycli, and this team they're playing is just excellent. This team has so much experience. They've been together. They add Steve Kerr to a team that played all together last year. You know, John, last year, they're 13-5 in the Pac-10. It's won by UCLA, but they lose 4 of those games by 2 points or less. I ask you, if they have Steve Kerr, do you think maybe they win the Pac-10?
Maybe so. 12:19 to play. They're winning right now. It's 57-46 in the championship game of the Great Alaska Shootout.
Excels in defensive transition.
And the Wildcats still shooting 64% for the game. And the big rebounding edge remains. It's 24 for Arizona, 15 for Syracuse. And there you see the totals at this point in the ball game, and we have 12 minutes and 19 seconds to play.
Shot selection is the reason for that. The totals are excellent because they get great spacing, shot selection. They spot up exceptionally well. Hey, next year, a great field here also. Kentucky and the Wildcats as he comes up short on the free throw line. Kansas will be here. Also, Villanova will be here. Iona, an outstanding field coming in here.
1 out of 2. 11 points for the junior from Los Angeles. They have, and they always do at halftime, announce the field for the next year's tournament.
That matchup zone is very effective. One year, Michigan State went through everybody playing that matchup. They had a fair player in the back by the name of Magic Johnson, Greg Kelser, Jay Vincent, but they played that matchup.
Almost lost by Sherman Douglas. He hangs on. It's 58-46.
In a day when there aren't a lot of great shooters, there are drivers and slashers. The matchup is a very effective defense.
Duncan missed the shot. Going over the back was Herman Haree. The Wildcats had the rebound anyway.
Well, one of the things about the matchup, you're in good rebounding position. You always have that triangle. We talked the other day about the effectiveness of the matchup. One, it gives you a situation where you minimize your fouling situations because of the fact that you're not going to get guys in foul trouble. You can hide players with the zone who have a liability defensively.
Jim Boeheim knows we're at a critical point in the ball game. He brings Ronnie Cycli back in the lineup, down by 12.
Well, if it was a close game, I'd like to keep him out a little bit longer. But now he's down 12. He doesn't have much chance, but he's got to get him on the floor.
Turner with 10 points in the first half. The rebound to Coleman. Can the Orangemen come back? 11 minutes and 35 seconds left in the game. They're looking at a 12-point difference.
They're a talented team. You better believe they can come back. And I'm not just saying that to keep people here. Syracuse is very explosive, and all they need is one little run, and they're back in this hunt.
Duncan to Cycli. Up, in, he's fouled.
Look at him counting it. He's refereeing. Look at Ronnie Cycli. He's saying, Tom Frame, count it. Count it. Look at him. Look at him. He's all pumped up. He wants it. You got to like him. I tell you, he had me in stitches here before the game. I said, Ronnie, I'm not playing. He's coming. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm really psyched. I'm really ready.
Cycli was 4 out of 7 at the line in the first half. Ronnie, with his biggest game so far in the tournament, now has 17 points. And some backcourt pressure on Kerr.
They post up real well.
Knocked away from Bushler. Back come the Orangemen.
Here comes a spurt. They got to have a score here.
Douglas, soft jumper, good.
There's the spurt off their defense. They created the quick score.
So now it's an 8-point difference. Douglas picks up his 10th point. Over the top to Turner. He lost it through the legs of Cycli. Bushler saves it. Back to Kerr. They swing it to McMillan.
Smart move by Boeheim going to the pressure. He's got good athletes on the floor. He's going to extend and pressure defensively.
We're going to see Sean Elliott back in the lineup. Penetration by McMillan. Tried to give it up to Cook, who lays it off the glass. Missed the shot. Inside, Duncan with a rebound. Now the Orangemen can cut it to 6. Here's Sherman Douglas.
Here's that spurt I was talking about, John. They're so explosive, Syracuse.
10:30 to play in the game. Let's see if they looked as the big man. Cycli. Thompson with penetration. A soft left-hand shot. He was off balance. Tried to force it up there. Did not get it.
Not the kind of shot they needed in that sequence. They had to go inside either to Coleman or to go to Cycli. An off-balance shot right there by Stevie Thompson.
And that's going to bring Matt Rowe to the scorer's table and back in the lineup. McMillan finally gets rid of it to Cook. 10 minutes to play in the game.
They're going to try to get number 5 on Cycli. They're going to drive the ball in against Ronnie Cycli.
Bushler.
Remember, Cycli's got 4.
Lane jumper, McMillan, no good. Cycli with a rebound. Here's Sherman Douglas.
Cycli really playing like an All-American, John.
Thompson, who's 0 for 6, misses again. Douglas gets it back. Douglas up, baseline jumper, no good. He's fouled by Turner.
Stevie Thompson is a very inconsistent shooter. He's an explosive player in transition, but his shot sometimes is there and sometimes it's not. He's totally inconsistent as a shooter. He has to really work on that part of his game.
He had a high of 19 points in the opening game on Friday. The win over the University of Alaska Anchorage by the Orangemen of Syracuse.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Tito Horford, his team, you could put an unbelievable team out there.
You'll take on anybody with this group, right?
I'll take anybody in America, sit on the sideline, drink a cup of coffee, relax, and let them just play.
He makes 1 out of 2. Douglas has 11 points. The lead is 6.
And I didn't even mention Coleman. You could have Coleman also. What a team.
Tolbert carried the basketball.
He walked.
He was anxious to go up with it. He carried it.
They're breaking down a little bit against the pressure, John. They really are. I'd get a timeout if I was Lute Olson. They're breaking down a little bit. And there's the timeout by Lute Olson.
They do indeed take the timeout with 9:23 to play. Their lead has slipped to 6, but it's still the Wildcats in the final of the Great Alaska Shootout.
Doubt any quote you might say about them. There they got the number boards right there that they flashed their different plays. 21, they're different defenses. That's Kevin O'Neill. They got a great staff. Ricky Birdsong is ready for a head job, and Tony McAndrews, an outstanding coach who used to be at Colorado State, certainly is head coaching material.
Syracuse has scored 6 points in a row. They've climbed back in it. Douglas spin move against Tolbert.
See, they're aware of Cycli right now. That's going to open up a wing shot. But they're really matching up on row number 3.
Coleman, lane jumper, good.
Derek Coleman comes up with a big basket, shoots the little jump shot.
11 points for Coleman. Lofton in the lineup now for Arizona. That's 8 points in a row for Syracuse. The lead is down to 4. Here's Tolbert from the side. Leaves it for Lofton.
Douglas and Lofton were pushing each other and shoving each other at halftime, going out to the locker room.
Tolbert's jumper short, gets his own rebound. Misses again. There's Turner. Hands it to Elliott, who scores.
Can't win, John, if you don't rebound. There's no reason in the world with them coming up with 3 shots with guys on the floor like Cycli and Coleman. That's an absolute no-no.
That was Elliott's first basket of the second half. A steal by the Wildcats, as Turner, who has played a tremendous game off the bench, comes up with the turnover.
He did a great job fronting him, but that was a Marconi special. They really telegraphed that pass.
8 minutes left in the game. A 6-point lead for Arizona. The Wildcats have the ball. Lofton tried to go back, and Douglas intercepted. 2-on-1 with Rowe. Back to Douglas. There he is.
Play. What a perfect way to execute in transition. 2-on-1, just done like a clinic with Mr. Douglas and Mr. Rowe.
Matt Rowe definitely earning himself some more playing time. He started the second half after he had the big first half with 4 3-pointers.
He's starting to improve in other areas, John, other than just shooting the basketball. That was an excellent pass.
Elliott. Too hard. Cycli with the rebound. Now they can cut that lead to 2. It's 60-56 Arizona. The Cats were up at one point by 12.
Syracuse really in command now, doing an excellent job defensively. Great move by Jimmy Boeheim, going to some pressure defensively to get some rhythm and definitely create the tempo their way.
Lute Olson is going to get Cook back in the lineup. Off the lane, the jump shot is good by Douglas.
Syracuse has got an effective team. They got a great trio in Douglas and Coleman and in Cycli. If they played 3-on-3 basketball, not anybody would beat them. They got to get some solid play out of the number 4 and 5 men.
So Douglas picks up his 15th point. He'll go back to the line. Syracuse on a 12-2 run right now. Make it 13-2. The lead that was 12 is down to 1 as we have 7 minutes left. Hang on.
I told you a little bit earlier, John, when they were down 12, they're so explosive that this game is never over with a team like Syracuse.
Lofton takes it from Elliott.
Now they change defenses. They go into a 2-3 zone. Lofton's a penetrator.
Elliott from the side, rebound Rowe. Syracuse can take the lead.
Hey, Rowe is doing it all. He's rebounding, he's passing the ball, and we know he can shoot the ball. He is earning QT quality time.
At 12 points, all in the first half, 6.5 to play. A chance for the Orangemen to take the lead as Coleman comes out to take the basketball.
This has been a great game, John.
Sherman Douglas, but right there to follow is Coleman.
They're really attacking the glass right there. And a monster mash by Mr. Coleman. Nobody blocks out.
Syracuse with their first lead of the second half. 61-60. The Orangemen have come back. They have outscored Arizona 15-2.
Remember, this is the first time this year that Arizona has been behind this late in the game. Now we see what kind of team they are with an adversity setting in.
Kerr looks for Cook. Goes instead to Sean Elliott. Elliott inside. Cook against Cycli. Cycli let him go.
Well, he's got 4 fouls. He takes it right to him. An intelligent play by Anthony Cook.
Quickly back the other way. Stephen Thompson. Nobody to go to. Here's Matt Rowe. Again, McMillan does a good job of cutting off that 3-point shot. Stephen Thompson looks inside to Coleman. Goes to Cycli. It's knocked away. Here's Lofton.
Sherman Douglas wanted a piece of him. You better believe that. But he couldn't get him, and they're dancing on a sideline in Arizona. Those two guys, there's a little bad blood going on between Lofton and, look at that bench, Lofton and Douglas.
So just like that, the Wildcats claw their way back to a 3-point lead. Coleman facing the basket.
This is like the intense NCAA. You got to love it, John Sanders. You got to love it.
Cycli gives it back to Thompson. Roll for three. A chance to tie it short. Cycli up for the rebound. It's Kerr for Arizona.
If they score here, Jimmy Boeheim needs a timeout.
Lofton for three. Yes.
Get a timeout, Jimmy. Get a TO, baby. Get a TO. Get a TO, Jimmy Boeheim.
The Wildcats celebrate a 6-point lead. It's 67-61 with 4:39 to play in the ballgame. The Orangemen came all the way back, but they're going to have to do it again at the Great Alaska Shootout.
Late two.
But just like that, Arizona comes back. Lofton with a three-pointer to finish off another surge. 7 straight points for the Wildcats. There you see the scoring.
I would try to isolate and get it to Cycli down inside. He really feels it right now. Cook playing up on him, man-to-man.
Jump shot by Coleman. Tipped up and controlled by Stephen Thompson.
Great athletic move right there by Thompson.
He tried to go to Cycli, but before Cycli could get the shot off, he was fouled by Lofton.
We talk about athletic moves and athletic ability. Stephen Thompson possesses great athletic ability. What we mean about that is great lateral quickness, tremendous bounce off the floor, vertical jump. Cycli gets fouled and will go to the line. Remember, Syracuse has had a history the last couple of years not being good on the free throw line.
Now coming into this game, they're shooting only 57% as a team from the line, and that one missed badly.
That's going to be a nightmare in those close one-point games in the Big East against Georgetown and Pittsburgh and an improved Seton Hall team. Villanova with a big win over Illinois. Providence winning their classic. What a year they're going to have in the Big East.
67-61, Arizona with the lead and the basketball. Inside, 4 minutes remaining. Cook to Kerr. Now Tolbert.
What patience, John. Patience, ball movement, shot selection, and the little baseline jump shot by Tolbert.
Tolbert putting away his 9th point. He has played a very solid game. Penetration that time by Coleman.
Steve Kerr wanted the charge. He wanted the charge. He thought that they rotated over and helped position to close off the driving angle. As you take a look at Lute Olson. There's the ball entered to Coleman. They think they rotate over. Tolbert believes he's there.
But the referee does not, and he has 4 fouls.
Well, he counts, the referee, the guy with the striped shirts.
Had to put Derek Coleman on the line. He has had 1 chance tonight, and he has made it. Derek with 7 rebounds in the ballgame. He's 6 for 8 from the field.
He's wearing that black band in memory of a friend of his who was killed in Detroit.
Hits the front end of the 1-and-1. That's 14 points now for the 6'9" sophomore. They list him 6'9". He's a little bigger than that.
You look at the depth this year in the Big East, it's going to be really tough to predict who's going to come out of that. I didn't even mention St. John's, and they got a solid backcourt. Louis Cornacecca winning his 13th consecutive Joe Lapchick tournament.
Sean Elliott takes it all the way in. There's nothing Cycli can do about it.
Sean Elliott with the great penetration, the quickness. He's explosive. He's going to make my All-American team, I better believe, at the end of the year when you talk the top 10 or 15 in America.
The Orangemen down by 8 with 3:13 to play. Douglas, offensive foul.
Good defensive play right there again by little Kenny Lofton, giving him a spark off the bench. He's out of East Chicago, Indiana, went to Washington High School, where Peter Turkovich, a great player at UCLA, came from, and Junior Bridgman, one of the all-time greats from out of Louisville.
Lofton played last year for the man with the basketball. Kerr was out. Lofton, all he did was set a record for assists in a season.
They got a solid 7 players, John. They really had a great rotation. If you add Bushler, they got 8.
Here's Lofton.
Three-pointer.
For 3, no good. Here's Stephen Thompson. Right in, he takes it. He was going up and fouled by Lofton. He decided right away he was going to take it all the way and make Kerr or somebody fouling.
Well, he's a scorer, and that's his best part of his game, the open court. But now that he's been fouled, he's got to prove he can make those free throws. Take a look at Jim Boeheim, his assistants, Wayne Morgan, Bernie Fine. They do a solid job. They work like workaholics, those guys, Fine and Morgan, and don't get the recognition. See, they're just a disaster on the free throw line, John.
15 out of 22 as a team in this game. And that for Thompson, his first miss. He had made his first 2, and he misses 2. Cycli, though, saves it. He can't hit.
Again, the free throw line becoming a nightmare for Syracuse. They missed their last, I believe, 4 in a row.
71-63. Elliott to Tolbert. They move it quickly. Elliott's got all kinds of room.
Using some clock right now. If they play man-to-man now and open up the court, Elliott's going to be very difficult to defend one-on-one.
2 minutes and 22 seconds to play. The shot clock shows 22 seconds.
They got excellent free throw shooters. Elliott's an excellent free throw shooter. Kerr is.
Now 15 seconds.
I really like this Arizona team.
Elliott shot a little short. Cycli with a rebound, hands the ball ahead to Douglas. Rowe for three. No. And it's out of play. Arizona basketball, exactly 2 minutes left.
There's a frustration on the face of Derek Coleman. You know, you think about the West, there are really only 3 teams that can flat out play in the West. Nevada, Las Vegas, year in and year out. Also Wyoming this year with a great team in Arizona.
Knocked away by Stephen Thompson. The Wildcats will keep it.
You had to be impressed, John, with the play of Arizona thus far in this tournament.
Solid balance. You've got Turner with 10, McMillan 15, Tolbert 9, Elliott 12, Cook 13. That's the kind of balance they have displayed in this championship.
There's the trap. They got to post someone up. They get it over the top. They make very few mistakes with the basketball. They usually come up with a good shot. They have usually excellent execution.
This is where the senior-dominated team really shows. 2 of these kids were all-tournament players 2 years ago.
And there's a guy with the ball who was like a walk-on. Nobody wanted him out of high school. They make an error right there as we talked about him, how good they are.
Finally picked up by Thompson. Fights his way into the lane. Gets a foul from Anthony Cook. And puts himself back where he doesn't want to be on the line.
Yeah, he's amazing in that he gets fouled. He's acrobatic. He's got all the quick moves to the goal, but he really has to convert the free throw line because he's going to go to the line often.
Syracuse 15 out of 23 at the foul line. 1:22 left, and they're down by 8.
How would you like to get a player like Steve Kerr, who was only really recruited by one school? Gonzaga had him in for a visit. He converts that free throw, and he was really almost like a walk-on player. There's a look at the staff of, there's Trish, Howard Trish, now an assistant coach. There's Derek Brower. A lot of sadness on that sideline.
Thompson gets both. He has 4 points, all from the foul line. He's not made a field goal in the game. 71-65.
See, the great thing having a big guy in the backcourt like Elliott, who's a wing player, but is like another guard, is he's 6'8", and he can look right over the top of the defense.
Thompson with the foul at the 107 mark, and it is becoming apparent that the Wildcats are going to take the championship back to the desert.
Well, there's still a lot of time with that 3-point shot, John. 2 possessions, and you got a tie ball game. But the key is free throw shooting, and Arizona is a very good free throw shooting team as you look at the intense Lute Olson.
But you watch the Syracuse players right now, they appear to be a little bit tired.
Nothing but net. They're automatic. Check their stats out on the free throw line.
Well, coming into the game and shooting 65% at the line. Here is the 3-point guy who's got to do it if Syracuse is going to get back in the game. Matt Rowe checks in.
Not a good total when you look at 65 as a team, but if you look at their players like Kerr, McMillan, and Elliott, they're all excellent free throw shooters.
Well, Elliott at this point, 10 of 12 on the year. And add 1 more to that.
He's so smooth. They're getting ready to do a little dance and go get the gold trophy and celebrate the winning of the Great Alaska Shootout.
Douglas driving. Cycli follows. Ronnie Cycli with 19 points.
He's played an excellent game, got himself in foul trouble. See, now the determination of the official. Are they fouling to stop the clock? If they are, then it's 2 shots in possession. They must make a legal attempt to go after the basketball.
55 seconds to play. We'll march all the way to the other end. The foul is on Coleman.
Both on neutral floors, and they've come up short, so it's got to be disappointing after making it to the Final Four and returning such a nucleus, Douglas, Coleman, and Cycli. If anything, they're sending a message out to them that we have to work, we have to get back in the gym and do all the little things it takes to be an ultimate winner.
Kerr has 1 3-pointer and 2 foul shots.
See, they make their fouls, John. 2 in a row by Kerr, 2 in a row by Elliott, and that's what wins ball games. But remember, championships aren't won in December. It's in March when it's all the time to really count.
Stephen Thompson against Elliott, and Elliott picks up the foul. 6. 17-point ball game for Sherman Douglas.
Sherman, an outstanding point guard. You look at the great point guards in the nation. Tomorrow we're going to see a dynamite one. My #1 point guard, David Rivers, the All-American from out of Notre Dame, going against Indiana.
The foul in backcourt.
See now the determination. Was he going for the ball, or is he trying to intentionally stop the clock?
Point total. Missed it. But the Wildcats get it back with 35 seconds to play.
They're just going to spread the court now. Spread the court in their delay game. Hold the ball. Now comes the intentional foul.
And it is Douglas who hammers Lofton, and that is the intentional foul call.
Yeah, Tom Frame right on the call. Means 2 shots in possession.
Lofton with a miss.
Harvey Mason came up to me. He said, "You didn't even mention my name yesterday when you mentioned about our bench."
Harvey obviously considers him the ringleader on that bench, the cheerleader.
He creates a lot of music. He's an outstanding singer. His dad is a very famed musician, and he's following in his footsteps.
Arizona by 7. The Wildcats have the ball. Lofton again. There's the foul. Douglas puts the arm on Elliott.
They're telling you you're a cupcake. They want you in the first round. Duke and Florida, what a matchup that'll be.
Elliott with his 15th point. Make it 16.
Elliott with the delivery of 2.
20 seconds to play. Douglas all the way. Cook, Lofton, Kerr. They've got a 2-on-1.
Slam jam bam to
Here's
finish
Coke.
it. There it is. A gorilla dunk by Tom Tolbert. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Duncan at the buzzer. It won't go. And the ball game is over. A big early season win for the Wildcats of Arizona. Lute Olson and Arizona, the champions of the 1987 Great Alaska Shootout. You would think they had won the national championship.
Look at the excitement.
Look at this.
Oh, John, are they enthused? They came here with a mission, came here with a purpose. Lute Olson said, "My kids wanted Michigan and Syracuse." As you look at Kevin O'Neill, the assistant coach, he said, "Bring on the best, baby. Bring on the Wolverines and bring on the Orangemen."
They finished 5th 2 years ago. This time they'll drink from the Winners' Cup. Arizona champions of the Great Alaska Shootout.